Buenos dias, Padre Jefe.
Oh, buenos dias, Jonathan. How are you?
Good.
Good. Morning is broken.
We are your consecrated hosts.
We are they. I'm Father Jeff, consecrated by holy orders.
I'm Jonathan, consecrated by baptism.
Yeah, it is a lovely day out there. Nice and cool morning. The little rain thing that came through yesterday just kind of cleared things out. And
it was Monday, my day that I run at Zurinsky, and I got done. I was getting back into my car just as the first raindrops were falling.
In the afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Aha.
So raindrops started falling as I was in the parking lot getting back to my car, and then before I got home, it was a torrential downpour.
It just blew in. Yeah, I mean, it was, especially in this part of Omaha, it just blew. Windy.
Oh my gosh, it was very windy.
I know.
But I was inside of my van.
You made it?
And I was good, yeah. I wasn't worried about
fantastic
being caught in the rain.
Being soaked, because you would have gotten soaked real fast, real quick.
It would have been a nice way to cool down, but...
Yeah. Well, thanks for Deacon Steve for being here yesterday. That was a nice time to get to know him, and he's our newest deacon here. A couple years, I think, in the parish now.
Almost 2, coming up on 2.
Right.
So, yeah. I think it's just so good so people get to know the people around here, the faces they see.
Yep. You see them up on the altar, or you see them preach a homily or whatnot, or you hear the names. Yeah. It's like, well, who is that? What do I know anything about this person?
Nope.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Maybe one of these days, Jonathan, I'll learn a little bit about you.
Maybe one day. One day. Well, I just put my wife through a lot of stress the last few days. Well, so we live in a house. We've been in the house for about 2.5 years.
Yes.
And she was just perusing. And, this weekend she's like, hey, I found this house out in Gretna. And it looks really nice. And I was like, okay, I'll look at it. I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks like a really nice house. And then she's like, oh, there's an open house on Sunday. And so Saturday night she's like, we probably shouldn't go because you're going to like it and you're going to want to do something and we're about to leave town. Well, we went to the open house and the house either met or exceeded all expectations. And so I would think that maybe that house would be way above our price range if you wouldn't have told me anything.
Okay.
And it was still at the very top of our anything that we could potentially budget
for.
That we'd be comfortable with anyways. And so we go, and then we called up the realtor and said, hey, so what's going on with this house? And apparently there was an offer on it, but it was not a good offer. And so the listing agent said, oh, well, if you have something, send it over. And so we were meeting with them last night, and they're starting to talk to us. Well, if she hasn't gotten back to me, but while you're out of town, you can leave us the keys. We will put in some new flooring, and it's just to replace the carpets. We'll put stuff in storage for you while you're out of town, and we'll figure it out because we would have to sell our house right away, but we're about to go out of town for about a week, and then we're back for 4 days, and we're out of town for another week. Long story short, Genevieve is like hyperventilating, and me, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, well, if we could get the loan that makes all the sense in the world and everything had to fit perfectly, or else it just wasn't going to work. And so I'm just, if it's God's will, it'll happen. If not, oh well. She almost has a heart attack. Long story short, they got a different offer that would be, we might be able to match it, but they already have that offer, so it's not going to happen. So poor Genevieve, she was having a heart attack. She's like, we just need to pack. I need to do laundry. We can't be packing up our house, and we're about to leave. I was just fine with it.
Didn't you just move into this house?
2.5 years ago.
It's only been 2.5 years. It's been 2.5 years. Who stays in a house longer than that?
Well, we moved into that house thinking we would move between 3 and 5 years.
Okay.
But that was just a fun last night.
Just a quick, hey, I got an idea. Let's go buy a house.
Yeah, so that shows her if she ever watches this back. She knew. She even said Saturday night, she's like, I don't know if we should do this. It was a lovely house. I hope whoever moves in really enjoys it and then invites me over.
Very good. Well, I was not shopping for houses. I was doing all kinds of domestic things yesterday. I had a stack of ironing that needed to get done. For 2 weeks, I hadn't done ironing, so I did a lot of that. Had to give Staples a bath. Did that.
But you did this yesterday on your day
This was all
off.
yesterday. I know, day off. It's very glamorous, the things that I do.
Ironing. You know, I don't recall the last time I ironed anything.
I can tell. I like a nice, crisp, ironed shirt.
Well, good.
I iron almost everything.
Socks?
No.
Well, there you go.
No. There's no need to do that. No need. All pants, all shorts, all shirts.
All shorts?
Not personal shorts.
No,
not
but
the
like
unmentionables.
No. I mean like.
But like shorts. Yes. I don't iron workout clothes. I don't iron pajamas.
Don't you have like some
Everything
khaki
else.
shorts or something you would
Yeah,
iron?
khaki shorts, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course, I iron those.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't remember the last time I think I know where my iron is.
Well, these are good things to know.
I think.
Iron my handkerchiefs, napkins.
Your napkins?
My napkins. Not paper napkins. I use a cloth napkin for daily wear, daily use.
Those are... My cousin, growing up, he would just use a kind of a rag.
Okay.
That was his napkin.
That was a napkin. I just grab a rag.
Yep. And so
And
it was like, it
throw it away
wasn't like
when
a
you're
really
done.
nice... No, not throw it away. But you just throw it in the washing machine and it kind
Yeah.
of works the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's good.
it's environmentally friendly.
It's being conscious. Exactly.
Well, so I talked a lot about myself. I just thought that was an interesting story.
That was an interesting story.
I glimpsed into the hectic life of the Sanchez Hidalgos.
Yeah, because you're getting ready to go on vacation.
On Thursday, we leave at
Thursday.
7:20 a.m. with 3 kids on a plane.
Wow. Wow. Now, did the children have to be masked? Because I know
don't know.
they're requiring, like,
Yeah.
you must be masked or you are on a no-fly list.
Right. So I think Joshua and Jeremiah, my 5 and 4-year-old,
Uh-huh.
might have to be masked. There's no way we're getting a 1-year-old masked. So
No, and I don't think that would be a requirement. Wow.
yeah, it'll be. We have a layover in Denver because they stopped all the nonstop flights.
I know. You got to go to one of the hubs.
So
And this
on the way
is to
back
Houston?
to Houston,
And then you're driving from Houston
to Brackettville, Texas, which is about 2
next to
hours.
Parenthesesville.
It's about 2 hours southwest of San Antonio, and just about 30 minutes away from Del Rio, which is
Okay.
on the border of Mexico.
Got it?
And that's where we have our family reunion every year.
Going all the way down there.
It's an old military fort called Fort Clark, and it's got this spring-fed pool that is huge.
Wow.
Biggest pool I've ever seen. And what's cool about it is that it's very cool because it's spring-fed, but they move the water through every week. So it's that fresh spring-fed pool water,
Yeah.
and there's no chlorine because they just keep cleaning it out.
It's a brand new pool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
We'll have to show
so you got
pictures when we
lots to
back.
get done now in the next day and a half before you
Yeah.
get
Well,
out.
luckily I've been planning.
It's always a lot of work before you leave.
Yeah. I want to be packed by tonight so that tomorrow night I can relax.
Speaking of work, we've got work to do. This
Oh
is
my
not
gosh.
just about casual chit chat. You are all here not to hear about Jonathan's non-house buying proclivities. You are here to hear about some spiritual stuff. So we are going to finish chapter 4 of Dies Domini out of 5. I think we're going to finish this tomorrow, Jonathan.
I think so.
We promised we would be done by June's end, and I think we're going to keep that promise. Unless we go off on a tangent, which is entirely possible. Paragraph 68. Rest.
Not boredom.
Not boredom, not emptiness. Rest is not sitting there
It's not vegging out.
in a vegetative state. No. Rest is, it should not denigrate into that, but rather, John Paul reminds us that the rest that we encounter on Sundays should offer, it should feed us. It should spiritually enrich us. It should make us feel and be more free. It should give us opportunities to think. You know, rest is again, kind of clearing that space so that I have room to think. I have room to be.
Well, if you think about resting, it's rejuvenating.
Yes. If you truly have rest.
Right. And obviously sometimes we're exhausted and we need to just take a nap in the afternoon, which is still rejuvenating. It would fit under
absolutely.
this. But vegging out, just not...
Binging a show from
Right.
beginning to end, like spending hours and hours on end.
You're still tired when that's over.
Yeah, or you feel even more lethargic.
A little more lethargic.
Yeah.
It doesn't rejuvenate in any way.
Yeah.
Where...
I mean, it's okay to watch a program. It's okay to, take a nap, to sit there and maybe just, I got nothing to do. I'm just going to sit here for a bit. But when we let that boil over into sloth, that's where it gets a little, that's no bueno.
Well, another one is that opportunity for fraternal communion.
Right.
And so if we are to get together with maybe larger family or even friends, what a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yes. It's not about an isolationism. But again, at the same time, if your personality is such that you rejuvenate in a more solitary environment, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. But it's as the paragraph here reminds us that society is going to offer so many things, so many kinds of entertainment, so many cultural things going on in our world, and that we have a responsibility to choose those that are most in keeping with the Lord's Day, that are most in keeping with the Sunday rest.
Right. So it's not just for the extroverts. It could be for the introverts. If that's where you need, and that's what rejuvenates you, and that's what gives you life, and you can still look back and...
What is going to be something that frees me, that gives me a greater freedom.
Amen.
Yeah. So, not boredom, not emptiness, but a good rest that gives me more energy. That energy is used for something. Paragraph 69, the day of solidarity. Now, that word, when we talk about Catholic social teaching, Catholic social justice, there are a number of moral principles that rise to the surface. The infinite dignity of the human person, that's like one of the main things that we remember, that we think of. The principle of subsidiarity, where individuals and the local level must make decisions for what is best rather than having it come down from on high, from someone far removed from the situation. Subsidiarity. The principle of solidarity is a big one in Catholic social teaching, that we are all in this together.
Like High School Musical says. We're all in this together.
Oh, not again.
That's 2.
We're all in this together. Indeed, we are in this together. And we need to, especially then, if we're all in this together, then if there's something going on over there, then I need to be aware of it, and I need to be intimately involved in it, or with it, or whatever. So if you're suffering, I'm suffering. If you're rejoicing, I'm rejoicing.
Literally all in this together.
Literally, figuratively, spiritually, all of those things. We are in this together. So a day of solidarity reminds us that Sunday should give the faithful the opportunity for mercy, charity, and the apostolate, the good works that we ship out there to others.
And it's all done out of love.
It's all done out of love. And here's why the rest is so important. Because, we've entered into a culture of overextending ourselves.
I'd say so.
That we overextend ourselves financially. We overextend ourselves in time commitments. We overextend ourselves in work sometimes.
Emotionally.
Emotionally, psychologically, we overextend ourselves. And when we do that, and I think budgeting is a perfect example, because you have a desire, like, I have a desire to be a charitable person. I want to be able to help the poor. I want to be able to donate to some good work or do something. I want to be able to give gifts. I want to be able to support the church and my community. But I can't do that if I have overextended myself in my financial commitments. And now I live in debt. And so now I have, even though I want to be charitable, I can't be charitable because I have made those poor decisions.
Right.
The same thing happens with our time. And so many people, when you ask, we need a volunteer, can someone help with this? Would you be available?
oh no, I'm booked for the
I'm
next
so
3 weeks.
busy. I don't have time. I've got all these other things. My kids are involved in these 20 things, and I'm involved in these things, and this needs to be done, that needs to be done. And then there's all the chores at home that I've been putting off, and blah, 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 blah. And we extend our time. So even if we wanted to be charitable,
we can't.
We're not able to be charitable. And that's not just financially, that's in the time. So the Sunday rest is, again, supposed to carve out a place where we have time, where we have resources, so that we can do those good works.
Right. And that doesn't mean if you are taking the time to be charitable, volunteering somewhere on a Sunday, that doesn't mean you have to do all of the things on Sunday.
Right.
That means that, okay, you are doing something charitable and you're doing a good job. Don't overextend yourself with that either.
Absolutely.
Because if you're doing 10 different charities on one Sunday, you're not getting in the other stuff that rejuvenates you. It needs to be balanced.
Exactly, yeah. And whenever we love, and love freely and love perfectly, that is a regenerating sort of thing. It's kind of like that spring that you were just talking about, that pool-fed spring. That when we let love flow through us, it cleans out, and it's kind of like, you know, the blood in the veins. Though. Exactly. Let's clean out the cholesterol. Let's clean out the crap. Let's clean out all that stuff by flowing. And when that doesn't happen, we turn in on ourselves, and we begin to close down, sink into those deadly sins.
Described as a fountain versus a watering can.
Yes.
Where the watering can, it fills up, you empty it out, then it's empty, then you have to fill it up, and then there is no flowing.
Right.
It's a go, stop, go, stop. The fountain's constantly flowing.
Constant.
Wonderful.
And the more you get that out to like a power wash, just cleans you out and refreshes. So then make it a day that you have time. You want to have time for these things. All right, paragraph 70. The Sunday Eucharist, since the time of the apostles, was really a time for gathering together, but not just to gather, but to, as it says here in St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, on the first day of the week, each of you is to put aside and save whatever extra you earn, so that the poor can benefit in that. Mm-hmm. First day of the week, set aside and save whatever extra you earn. That, you know, one of the things that I think so many Christians, particularly Catholics, there is sometimes a bugaboo, or whatever you want to call it, about wanting to make our spirituality not about the wallet. That my wallet really is my business. It has nothing to do with my spirituality, with my religion.
I'm glad you see things my way.
That would be wrong. That the wallet is in fact part of our spirituality. Because the wallet is an expression of charity. For goodness sakes, it's one of the 3 spiritual exercises that the Scriptures and Jesus himself identify as being absolutely necessary for the Christian life. Prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So the wallet, the stewardship, the gift of self is an absolutely necessary portion to the spiritual life. What am I doing with my gifts?
Right. Well, you know, it's the saying of where your money lies, there your heart lies.
Where is your treasure?
Where's your treasure?
Well, there's your heart.
And it's not that you can only give money, right? There's time, talent, and treasure.
Right.
That you can give all of those things. But if you're just giving time and talent and the treasure's going elsewhere, that says something.
Right.
Because anything you value, if you value home security, you're going to pay for home security.
Mm-hmm.
If you value a certain type of food, if you want to eat all organic and everything else, you pay extra for that. If you value your spiritual life, you're going to invest a little bit into different things.
If you value social standing, then you're going to be paying for all sorts of clubs and activities and membership fees and all of these things.
Like my new watch.
I love that watch. It's so beautiful.
I don't have a watch.
Yeah, these are all the things.
Yeah.
So where your money is, it is demonstrative. I mean, it is a tangible way of expressing our faith, and it's a tangible sign that we're using the things of the world and transforming them into the things of the kingdom.
Right.
And you do that with the tools that have been given us.
And it's not to say that you have to give X amount, like
right.
If the poor old lady who brought in the little piece of silver or whatever it was,
two coins,
2 coins, and that's all she had, and she gave everything. That meant more, and we just talked about this.
Yeah, we did, yes.
That meant more than the person who had billions and gave $1 million.
Right.
Because to him, that $1 million was just like, whatever.
Yeah,
But for her, she's like, I might not eat, but here you go.
Right. Right, yeah, it's one of the things that, I don't remember which saint wrote about this, one of the popes, I think, that every person, while we may not be equal in the quantity of gift that we can offer, that not everybody is of the same economic standing, and so not everyone is going to be able to give an equal amount. We are all equal in the quality of that gift, that we can all give the same percentage.
Yes.
We can't give the same amount, but we can all give the same percentage. And I think that's an important consideration. And so I always tell people, you cannot just... this has to be a conscious decision. What is my charity for the year going to look like? What is my commitment to the parish going to look like? What is my commitment to those needy organizations going to be? I have to figure that out.
Right.
And yeah, there's all kinds of things that I need and I want, and I have to budget those things. But if I don't make a place for the extra,
you'll find another place.
Something else will come along and take it. Absolutely.
And you've said it before, the guidelines are that you should be tithing 10%, but not necessarily all to the church,
Correct.
Not all to one place. There's a different breakdown, and I don't know if you'd want to cover it now, but you've covered it in the past.
Yeah.
That it doesn't all have to be coming here to St. Charles or wherever parish you're from, but that
Right.
it's a good thing to give back.
Exactly. 10%. I mean, that should be our goal. 10% of my gross earnings, not my take-home, my gross earnings, because the state's going to take its out of my gross, and our charity should not come from what's left over. Our charity also should come from the total. And so the total, my gross, if I make $100,000 a year, which I do not, then $10,000 needs to go to someone, not me or my family. That it needs to go to charity. And of that 10,000, ideally 5 to any number of charities, and then 5 to the church. And that's usually then divided into 4% to our parish community, where we spend most of our time, and 1% to our diocesan community that supports our parish community. So, these are just numbers, and I think it's good to do the math so we have a goal. Right. And that doesn't mean it's like, oh my gosh, I need to jump to that goal. I need to be working towards that goal. What am I working towards?
Right, because if you're budgeting right now, and let's say you're not tithing,
yeah,
taking 10% out of that, your whole budget,
it's going to seem like a lot.
It's going to be a lot, and it's going to be a little bit life-altering, probably.
But then where is my extra, right. If I have extra, But
then if you're working towards that and say, okay, well, actually, let's start
right.
giving a little bit, and then next year when I re-budget, I can really look at
right.
where I can put money.
But rich or poor, we are free. We are all in this together. That sense of solidarity. And that those who have more are giving more, because those who have less cannot do so. This was a reality when I've been in parishes with Catholic schools. Catholic school usually will consume half, if not more, than the parish's budget. 50-60% of the parish's budget will go into supporting the Catholic school if you have a parish school. Not all of the families who send their kids to that school are able to support the school, the parish, whatever,
Right.
with as much as maybe some of the other one, the older empty nesters, or some singles that might be out there, or whatever. They might be able to give more in their station of life, which will support those who are trying to raise 3 or 4 kids and put them through school and, build up their life in their young age or whatnot. But when they get older, they're going to be in a place to give back and pay it forward, as it were. And so that's kind of a thing that I think is so important, that we really do not ask, well, am I going to get a return on this
Right.
when I give to charity, but who's going to benefit? Who's going to get the return on this
Right.
when I give to charity?
Well, and Fran says, if you give, you receive, and it is.
That is so true.
Just because I give $100 does not mean I'm going to receive $100, but the rewards that we seek should not be monetary. It's,
Right.
You gave what you could, literally what you could. Those rewards in heaven, you'll be like, I wish I would have given $200 if I could have.
I know, yeah, the way it multiplies, the way the interest on these, the compounding interest is pretty definite when it comes to eternity. So that we're just called to take, 71 takes us deeper into that idea and demands that we, before all else, our religion before all else, should be a caring for the poor.
Right.
That the reason we take up collection is to support the mission of the church, so that anybody, rich or poor, can come here and have a home here and be served here, that it is, and they don't have to pay for it. If someone comes and says, Father, will you come bless my house? I say yes, and you don't have to pay me for that. that if I want my children to be prepared, help me prepare my children for first reconciliation. And we want to be able to do that without saying, okay, that's going to cost you $150 to do that. We
Right.
might say, could you buy your book, your textbook, but we don't need to pay for the
Right.
work
And
of
if
the
there's
church.
situations, and we have for our family faith formation and even for the sacraments,
Right.
if someone had come to us saying,
I can't afford my book.
I can't really afford this,
Yeah.
we would try to work. We would
Absolutely.
work something out.
We would.
Because we aren't in the business. This isn't a. It is forced because of the culture and society we live in that it is a business, but it's not a business.
Right, exactly.
We're not trying to make money.
Exactly.
Anything that we get for sacramental prep or family faith formation goes right back into, you get that right back.
Absolutely.
You're not.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then thinking about the primacy of caring for the poor beyond our walls.
Yes.
This is something that, especially the St. Vincent de Paul Society, is such an exemplary or a model, and the more people that can be involved in that and support that in some way, that with their work with food pantry, with their work of collecting items for their thrift stores, the work of making home visits, and really encountering people who are in situations where they need a little extra
We
help.
really should spotlight everything that the St. Vincent de Paul Society does, because I think they'd see the food pantry.
Yeah.
But even we get calls sometimes of, oh, my electricity just got shut off. What can I do? And St. Vincent de Paul finds ways to try to take care of them so that they can
Right.
continue
And they
to function
depend.
and
St.
live.
Vincent de Paul Society here at St. Charles depends a lot on the donations they receive from the people in the parish.
Right.
But they also need the manpower to go along with those donations, that we can't just write our check and call it good, but that we invest ourselves in there as
Right.
well. And they do a great job with that. And we hear this, a number of the saints, and John Paul II highlights a few of the saints here, and says, if you want to honor the body of Christ, then do not just decorate your churches and make them nice. Those aren't bad, to buy a nice altar cloth or to use gold and silver vessels on your altar. But if you have neglected the poor, then something's kind of wrong there.
Yep.
That you have to have a both-and mentality. That the poor should be able to come here and benefit from the beauty that is here. But the poor should also go away from here and not have to worry about where they're going to eat.
For sure.
That both are demanded, that every one of us should have that, that we need to be able to care for that. Which brings us to our final paragraph. Paragraph 73 of chapter 4. All of this, Jonathan, prophecy.
Prophecy.
We are called to be prophets. We talked about coming to the Sunday celebration and exercising your priesthood, that we all have to come to Mass as priests. Like, I'm going to offer this sacrifice. I'm going to participate. I'm not just going to be a spectator. But we also exercise our vocation as prophet, that we enter into the Lord's Day in a prophetic way.
Yes.
That the way we live Sunday should show other people that there is a God, and that the way we live our lives in relationship with that God is important. That's what a prophet does.
Right.
People look at you and say, well, why are you doing that? Or why aren't you doing that? Or whatever. Well, it's because I believe in Jesus Christ. And I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Right. And that's where it's so much our thoughts, no, not our thoughts, but our words and our actions. It's all, you can do all the good in the world and then have that one moment where you berate someone outside of the church and you throw it all away because now you are no longer living. And in our society as Christians, we are called to always be that light.
Yeah.
We are called to we are always representing our Lord and Savior.
Big old billboard.
Yeah.
You are a walking billboard for the Christian faith.
And so whether someone sees it or not, that moment of weakness or whatever, we all have our flaws and all of us sin, but that's really those are our tests. When we are put to those tests, how do you respond? Do you respond in a loving Christian manner, or do you just go off the rails?
Well, and this is one of those places where I think as Catholics, we especially in today's culture have more than ever the need to demonstrate what authentic Christianity looks like. Because there are so many people out there who will wave the Christian banner and claim to be Christian, and then they root themselves in some kind of political movement, and that is how they live their Christianity. Like, I am going to be a far right-wing conservative, or I am going to be a far left-wing progressive, and I'm going to be one or the other of these things, and that is what Christianity is all about. Look at me, I'm a Christian. I'm protesting everything under the sun. Or look at me, I'm a Christian. I am denouncing everything under the sun. Or what, it's incredible that I think there's just, Christianity is suffering under the weight of an inauthentic expression of what Christianity is. There are too many intolerant, negative examples of people who call themselves Christian and then do not demonstrate charity, do not demonstrate love or acceptance or concern, but just want to be self-righteous.
Right.
And I think as Catholics, we need to say, that thing over there, those people who call themselves Christian, that's not what Christianity looks like. That's not authentic Christianity. And in reality, it's not. Authentic Christianity is found and subsists in the Catholic Church.
Right.
The Second Vatican Council taught this. The councils before have taught this, that authentic Christianity is found in the Catholic Church. Anything else is not Christianity in its fullness. There is something severely lacking. And that is, those things that are lacking are what then get highlighted and say, look at how bad those people who call themselves Christians are.
Right.
Look at how intolerant those people who call themselves Christians are. Now it's our turn to step up and say, not to denounce, but to highlight and say, there's something good. Let's raise that up. And that, not so much. Let's show a different way.
Right.
So
I don't remember who it was. I think it was a saint, but there was a statement made that millions of people hate the Catholic Church for what they think it is. Not one person hates the Catholic Church for what it really is. And
that was Archbishop Fulton Sheen.
Okay. And
he said that.
And it's so true, because if Christians all lived the way they did, there's, unless you hate goodness, in this world, I mean, people find any reason to get upset or
right.
Or become a victim.
What am I feeling today?
Yeah.
Let's explode it.
And so, but let's say a controversial topic, the gay marriage, things like that. Yes, the Catholic Church does not agree that gay marriage is a thing, because it cannot be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. It cannot be a thing. what marriage is. But we're still called to love anybody who has any of those feelings, anything like that. And we still need to treat them with dignity and honor and respect. And
way to open a big topic in the last 30 seconds of the program, Jonathan.
But regardless of what the topic is, it's not being hateful towards them in any ways, but showing them if the church did a better job, the church, not necessarily the hierarchy, but everyone in the church did a better job of saying, okay, so you have these feelings, whatever, you're still welcome here. You're a sinner just like I am, and we treated them better. It wouldn't be we treated them better. It's we treat everyone the same.
We love and we demonstrate that charity. And that's really, we need to demonstrate that authentic Christianity and pull it out of the legalism. Again, we keep going back to the series, The Chosen, and that was one of the things that struck me as I watched that series, how much Christ came to change the minds and hearts of believers, that when you encounter someone, do you encounter an issue, a sin, a problem, or do you encounter a person that needs to be loved? Because most of the scribes and Pharisees encountered a sinner, encountered someone who broke the law, encountered someone who was not righteous, encountered a problem, encountered an outcast, but Jesus only encountered a person to be loved.
Do you see the sin, or do you see the person?
And that's what we need to do as Catholics to be authentic Christians.
And just evangelists. You don't evangelize by trying to change someone's sin. You evangelize someone by letting them know God's love.
Absolutely. Being a prophet. The Lord's Day is about being a prophet. So tomorrow, we're going to conclude Dies Domini, God willing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy this beautiful day.
I'm sorry for putting that in.
Get out of here, Jonathan.